staying time. Maybe too much jump too. Gotta get this right. If we can't get this right, the game won't be fun. Is the horizontal movement speed? Do you have to configure the horizontal movement speed? Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm just out there. Acceleration. That's good, man. Are you talking about All right, what is going on? Time to get the stream started. All right. Let me share my screen. There we go. G develop. All right. Hopefully everyone's had a good week so far. Mine's been all right. Can't believe we're already in the second half of March. Time is flying. Absolutely flying. Like it's basically Christmas. Basically just have to get started with your Christmas shopping, folks. I am continuing building out a game just for fun. I don't know how far I'll get, but building a game that's basically a Diablo clone using just an asset pack that I got off of itch. Hey, Riley Parker. Thanks for hopping on. And Riley Parker, I'm going to find something in the game to make yellow and make it your thing. Don't know what it'll be. So, where I've left off, I need to see where I've left off. I started building chunks because, you know, Diablo 2, procedurally generated levels are often in like chunks. They're loaded up in chunks. So I started playing around with that in sort of a weird G develop way. Hey, Lost in Code, how's it going? Family's doing pretty well, man. Yeah, how are you and your family doing? I miss y'all. It's been 2 weeks now. I had to skip a week. So I'm just going to pull up what I've done so far. So last week, I got the character animated with a walk and a basic attack. And I went and put in the skeletons with some pathfinding and their 8-direction animations as well. They don't do anything besides track to the character at this point in time. Yeah, it does feel like it's been forever. I went to there was a convention in Texas, so I went down there, which was pretty cool. In fact, I met someone who I might hire to help market this, well, not this game, my tower defense game later on. So that was pretty productive. But it's good to be back for sure. I bet if I just stand still, all these skeletons are going to converge and look like one big skeleton. So, and I got in some walls that serve as barriers. Placeholder, obviously. Yeah, George was there. I met him. I met the minimap people, the boss, and Zach from their team was there too. So it was really good to meet them in person. They're really nice. In fact, I accidentally brought home, because I had like a booth set up, right? There was like an expo floor and they had a little booth actually with a lot of the South Korea. There were some other South Korean companies there too. But I accidentally kept some of their stickers that they were handing out as swag. So, unless I ship those around the world, I guess I just have some extra stickers to hand out for them. So, maybe I'll just have to pay them back by promoting their announcements or something. All right. All right, so here's what I've got going on for these walls. Hey, yeah, free advertising. The red ones are the actual barriers. Then I wanted to see if I could get these the art walls and somehow make them work. I'll be honest, I haven't done a whole lot of this in ISO, so I'm not sure how well this is all going to look. But I'll do my best. Guess that one there fits just fine. The collision is fine on these red things. It seems just fine. Again, I'm just trying to kind of make it work. But you know, I am open to suggestions as I go along. So what I'm going to do here is just put these over the red, which will be hidden. And the plan is to make the levels kind of randomly generated. I think I still need to double check on the player collision. So let me do that here in just a second. Wall diagonal tiled. Oops. Duplicate this one. All right, so that's the northeast wall. I need to replace that. All right, let's see what we've got here. Have you been, has your computer been cooperating lately? All right, so here's the folder. This is what I'm looking at. So let's see, environment. No, not environment. Prop. Wall. So if that was northeast, I need a southwest wall. I think. Wait, no. Northeast, south. I need northwest. Let it load. Well, that's good. You're able to play Rust for the first time in a while. Awesome, dude. Why does that look so funny? Hopefully it stays cooperating. Oh, wall 2 is what I need. There was a wall 1. I need wall 2. Northwest. I've been able to get a little more progress in on my tower defense game. When I was on my flight to Texas, well, that's funny. When I was on my flight to Texas, I thought of a fix for a bug. So with that bug out of the way, I got rid of a really overly stupidly complex system for managing bullets and collisions. And so I'm basically back on a roll with that game. So that's been nice. Code says, taking a break from making games as you were doing a lot with the jams. You really were doing a lot with the jams, dude. And you snagged your first win as well. So I'd say you've earned the time off. You've earned a little hiatus. Hold the truth hostage. Putting in the work, respect for the reply in the video, and trying Godot. Just that first code setup, VS Code setup, is insanely difficult for no reason. Yeah, hey, appreciate the kind words, and thanks for watching any of my content. In fact, I owe you some more replies. You asked some good questions, and I've been thinking about them. I think about my responses before I put them out there. But while you're here, I did want to ask, I know you wanted an update on the AI G-Develop video. I was just curious what specifically you wanted to see updates on, because obviously G-Develop has made updates. Are you wanting to see like what all of the AI updates are? All right, I'm gonna overlay this if I can. It looks kind of funny there, but I guess that's just the way they made it. I suppose I should give these things a Z order. I think I put that on here too. No, I did not. All right, let's do Y sort. Kind of a rough job here, nothing too formal. Just want to get kind of a semblance of a Diablo clone in the works. It's not liking that. I might just, let's see. That bottom one works. Why does this top one not work? There we go. So technically, oh, I need more down here. You said your thing is this, and it's due to the fact it takes so long since a video. I think it's just helpful to say not much change every 4 to 6 months. That way people watching are like, it's not outdated. Oh, yeah, I got what you're saying. I think I understand now. And you're right. Yeah, really not that much has changed other than the in-game, not the in-game. They've added the Ask AI, you know, kind of like Gemini or like, you know, Copilot. So they've added that in here. So obviously I could do a video on that. And I think they've actually, I think the developer of the engine has come out with a video like that too. So I could definitely do something like that. Maybe just a quick little 5-minute video. And maybe that would help some things. The user interface changes from time to time. The good news is I'm actually in the middle of putting out another video right now, which is just a make a game from scratch video. And it's not very specific to AI, but it will have all the interface updates included. So that should be somewhat helpful as well until I do an AI video. But yeah, you know, I am admittedly very slow at putting out videos because honestly, I love making games first and foremost. So I'm guilty of that 100%. Yeah, code 890. I don't even know why. People are crazy. You're also just wondering, is it just plug and play for the AI code? And can you choose the API to use for it? Was watching some more stuff about Godot. Were you ever using another engine before? I've used a couple of engines. I haven't done much with Godot, to be honest. I've opened it up and, messed around with the interface a little bit. Haven't done a ton with it. But I've dabbled in Unreal, Unity, and Godot. I've also used other smaller engines like Greenfoot, Game Maker Studio, and I kind of just settled on GDevelop because I love the speed I can operate inside of it. But again, I don't get into the one engine versus another. I say pick something and learn it well, because you're going to spend a lot of time learning game development. And you might already know that. You might probably know the stuff already. So I might be preaching to the choir here. But it's like, you're going to spend a lot of time learning game development, but you're also going to spend a lot of time learning your engine. So engines are a real time sink. And I just got tired of chasing the perfect engine. So I just settled on GDevelop. But yeah, so if I go here, let me close this real quick. We'll come right back. All right, let's go over to... All right. Yeah, the no AI stance when we don't have all the time in the world. Exactly. It's just another tool. Like, here's the thing. I was thinking back in time, I read a story from an older developer, like, I don't know, David Brevik or someone, maybe it was another older developer. He was talking about they were sitting in a bar one day with their senior developers when they were young, and they were making fun of him because he only knew the C language. Only, quote unquote. Whereas these days C is considered hardcore, right? They were typing in assembly language. They knew even lower level languages than C. So it's like the bars keep moving, with the technology keeps changing, and so people are very resistant to the new stuff, even if it's more efficient. So then languages like Python came out, and it's it's not as low level as C, so the C programmers make fun of Python people, but it's just another tool to use, and it has a purpose. And AI is like that too. There's AI slop, and then there are good, meaningful ways to utilize it as well. But okay, done with my little ramble there. For the AI, I'm not sure exactly what you mean about is the AI plug and play, because like you could come here and you could have it just spit out a game for you. You just type in a prompt, right? So is this kind of what you mean? Like where you come in here and you tell it, make a 3D top-down like strategy builder game, right? And then you tell it make the game. It'll work on it for a while. You play the game. It's going to be bare bones, but you can click on the things and it's kind of like ready to go. So in that regard, it's plug and play. But obviously you got to come in here and make it your own, right? It's just another way of getting a template to start working on. Okay, let me get back to where I was. Oh, the install process is super easy. Oh yeah, we could do that code. Make a 3D match 3 game with gems. Let's see if it can do this. Match 3 games are surprisingly a little challenging when you're coding them from scratch. Okay, I don't think it knew what I meant. I don't think it got that one quite right. I'm not surprised, though, for some reason. What did it give us? See, it's hit or miss, right? Because it's AI. So that was a miss. The first one was a hit. This one's a miss. Let me tell it maybe not 3D. A match 3 game with gems. And I am, of course, using my credits, but I don't really use them that often anyway. Could try 2D. If we fail this one, let's try it one more time and it will tell it 2D. Yeah, it doesn't know what I don't think it knows what match 3 means. It's just giving me like checkers or chess. So over here on the right, we have like the builder. So, but I don't know how much it could do with an already made template here. I bet it could do Pong. We could try that. So the AI in GDevelop is just built in. So in that regard, it's plug and play for sure. Like it's just here. It's not like an add-on. That said, yeah, it's not perfect. All right, what did it even say over here? All right, so it gave us a gem object. No behaviors. It has position variables. It's a draggable piece, so I think if I go in the game, I can drag it around. Oh, that's weird. I don't think it's draggable. Oh, well, that would explain it. Condition draggable piece was just dropped. Missing behavior draggable. Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't have that, but we could put that in. Done. Done. And then it's initialized the game board. So probably what we could do if we were going to actually go through with this is I just come in here and delete all these objects. So select all, delete those. Oops, not this. Delete these. Select all of these. Don't need that, don't need that. And yeah, again, I don't know. I can move them around. I don't know how it's planning for us to do the actual matching. It says next steps. Now that you have a basic grid of draggable gems, here are some things we can work on next. Implement gem swapping logic and detect matches, remove matched gems to refill the board. So obviously that's like the rest of a match 3 game. So, but what you could do though is you can use your credits and start asking it to put these pieces together, kind of like piecemeal. I'm not going to do that tonight, but that would be a whole nother project. Oh, that is a different thing. Yeah, it does cost those credits. So yeah, that part's unfortunate. Wall ball. Oh, how come no one ever made a game based on wall ball? Heck yeah, I remember wall ball. You throw we would use either a tennis ball or like a racket ball at like the brick wall. Asking, is the tower defense game done? Funny question. It is not done. But don't worry about that. It's gonna be done soon enough, though. I've made some real progress on it lately, so I'm gonna start live streaming the end of that development as well. I did meet a guy he's got like a studio, and he's gonna help me market it a little bit in the upcoming months. So I'm looking forward to working with them on it. But no, I appreciate you asking. I wish it were done. I'm getting really excited about it. I had remade the entire game from scratch because the first version of it was basically spaghetti code. And I don't regret rebuilding it from scratch because, man, I reopened the first version of that game recently because I needed to double check how I did something in particular. And most of it was just so bad. It's like the longer you develop on something, the more you learn, but then like the earlier things that you built start to look really bad. It's like going back and looking at your, 7th grade homework and you're like, ooh, that wasn't so good. Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been? Thanks for coming back, by the way. Glad to see you back. Man, wall ball takes me back in time. I was just thinking about that because I would play that when we were waiting for like softball games or something to finish, around the school, whatever was going on. And I was remembering like the really bad watered down hot chocolate at the concession stands. They would give you just like boiling 212 degree Fahrenheit brown water that was supposed to be hot chocolate. I don't know why I always bought those. It was a waste of money. Okay, let's see here. So back to this Diablo clone. I appreciate it, Code. I might have some things that could be tasked out at this point, to be honest, from the tower defense. So here's what I was doing. I was talking about how Diablo 2 was built in chunks. So if I bet I could pull this up on Google. Diablo 2 chunks. Okay, let's see if I can illustrate this. So the maps themselves, or I guess this one's even Diablo 3. This would even work as an example. So let's see if I can make it big. Sorry for the white flash here. So in this example, they've basically just drawn squares around chunks, and that's what I'm trying to do here too. So while the layout of the overall map is randomized, inside of each of these chunks or squares / diamonds is predefined. It's just a matter of where they place these puzzle pieces. So that's basically what I'm doing here. So I built out a few of these, and if I go to my scene, it'll be here. I just said basically, it's basically like the equivalent of a 2-dimensional array, but it's not an array. So I said repeat 4 times, which is enough to fill the screen from left to right, and then do it again down below. and I'm telling it to pick these other scenes. So if I just do 1 through 4, I'll get, we'll see what I get. And then hit play. Let me tell this thing, start from the scene. Okay, so now I've loaded in, and it's not like super obvious right at the start, but these are the randomized chunks. It's just kind of obvious because there's a lot of space in between, but I could obviously fill them out. So obviously these two are the same chunk because it's the column and 1 barrel. Down here is a different chunk because it's got the 3 barrels and a crate and a torch over there. 3 barrels and a crate. Here's a completely different one over here with the 4 columns. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I just need to actually like make it smooth and everything. It's a lot of skeletons. Yeah, the D2 jail levels had chunks. Exactly, so you would figure out, sometimes you could figure out where you're going because you memorize what they look like. Hold the Truth Hostage says recess, after school, wall ball was the game. Also, you need voice acting. Let me know because tower defense can work depending on the game's settings. Also, do you plan to implement... you said, do you plan to implement destructive? Not sure what you mean there. You might have gotten cut off. Oh, destructive environments based on weapons used. So a fire could burn the field playing. That's a good question. And I assume you're still talking about the tower defense game. I mean, that's something to consider for sure. I am planning on doing synergies. So, for example, if there is a water puddle on the ground and enemies are within it, if they're not immune to lightning, then they take extra lightning damage, or something like that. So, he said there is potential depending on the weapons and setting, so long as he avoids situation. I think that's what harms indies. Making a game that gets lost in saturation. Another game set in medieval times. Yeah, definitely indie games, you're competing with every other game out there, along with actually not just every other game. You're competing with everything that takes time. So if someone likes to go watch Netflix, you're competing with that too. And I don't have the answers. I'm just another one of us down here in the trenches. But from what the experts say, they recommend just make a game that you're passionate about. And especially if you're not doing it for the money, which I'm not, because I have a day job. I'm not relying on having to get rich off of a game. So I am making games I love, and I'm marketing them to a specific group of people who, in my mind at least, are similar to me. They like nostalgic games. So I'm not trying to market it to like my 11-year-old son who likes Fortnite. That's a completely different market, and I'm not even trying to tap into it. All right, I need to take these chunks and make them kind of fit. Let me see here. I was thinking put these walls in. So I have this wall set up. I'm thinking maybe just... I could possibly just start duplicating this out. The Pokemon weakness setup, so lightning hits water, fire beats wood, so on. Yeah. So, quick, I'll show you just really quickly kind of what I was doing with that. And it's not going to be purely like, there's going to be like semi-resistances here and there. Some of them will be immune. Some of them can be damaged by other things too. So it won't be like a 1-for-1, because I don't think it should just be like, oh, it's a rock golem, you therefore must have water damage. You can maybe have water damage or something else too, physical or magic or whatever. But maybe there's like a best case scenario. And so, here's a quick example. So with like, you've got, if these are the enemy types on the left here, then they would be resistant to the items here in column G, where the lowercase letters are semi-resistances. And then they're vulnerable to these items here on the right column, but only semi-resistant if it's a small letter. So that's kind of the rough idea. And then, of course, that doesn't even get into like how much health do they have or other special abilities. All right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you know what's up. All right, so I think what I'm going to do here then, chunk. I'm going to do something like this. Actually, no, it has to be a number. Forgot about that. All right, let me start with 6. Wait, did I copy the right one? I have too many scenes open. Raise your hand if you always have too many scenes open. All right, let's go to this one. Yep, I did get the wrong one. Where'd it go? 5. Okay. So let me put some stuff in here. Just basically things to interact with. Or not so much. This is funny. The original sprite has these. Let me turn off the grid. I don't need that now. So there's a shadow. So the collision box, or rather the bounding box, goes all the way out to the end of the shadow. Oh, I need to double check the player too. Let's see here. All right, so code, you said make sure the player has a round. I think you're talking about the collision mask, right? So if I make this less square, maybe I won't have so much trouble. Let's call that 119 maybe. And then this one. You just found a circle interacts better with isometric walls. Yeah, so did you just... Is this what you're talking about, though? A circular collision mask? And I don't need it to go that tall either, to be honest. So if I take this one, that's going to be 119. 119. 139. Okay, so that one is... Okay, so maybe it's not going to be a circle. I wonder how picky it is. Do you think that would be good enough? I could test it. Yeah, I'll just try it. All right, let's put some stuff out here. My goal tonight is not to make a whole bunch of super special handcrafted levels. It's just to make some, basically a big playable arena. I do have these braziers I can put like they're stuck on these columns. In fact, the columns have different animations too. I like this asset pack. This person put in a lot of work on this. All of the character animations are 16 directional. All right, so there's one. I'm going to take this. I'm just going to duplicate it. And then edit this other one. I'll just move some stuff around. So maybe this one just has like a fire here in the middle. Maybe it's a little bit, it doesn't look too good. And let's say it has a barrel in each corner. The barrels already drop loot, so we're good to go there. Maybe this is on a crate. Although it's going to look funny because when I break the crate... Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I think this fire has a falling over animation. Let me see if I can find that. It's actually a perfect example of when we might use that. So that is the brazier. It's called brazier break. It needs to be, it's the other way around. I think. Oh, crap. Something's way off. Okay. I think I got it backwards. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I guess that's it. I guess I'm just crazy. All right. So let me double check the size. This is a 21 by 31. This is... bigger. Wonder if it's going to look good. One way to find out. Let's edit the points. Okay, so this origin / center is at 10.5, 15.5, which is this. I think that might work. And then it's just going to fall over. All right, I'll put in the logic for that here in just a second. So that is chunk 6 and 7. Now that I have those two, let me go into my level loader, tell it to select basically a random selection of those two chunks, and we'll see if they kind of line up and everything. All right. Oh, I didn't put that on the right level. Could definitely use more lights around too. Let's see. At the beginning of the scene, what I need to do is add lights to each brazier. So I'm going to add a repeat for each instance of an object. Brazier. We will create a light. At the brazier dot center X, and center Y. That needs to be on the lighting layer. All right, let's see how, oh, then, I suppose, since I'm actually just creating this manually, I could just set the Z order here. Yeah, let's do the Z order. So that's 8, 9. But then maybe it's changing. Let me double check. Because it's correct here for these columns, but it's underneath the crate. And it didn't get a light. And I need to hide all those red things too. So let's do that real quick because it's ugly. Yeah, if in collision with object and set Z order. Let's try that. Let's try it. Here goes nothing. No, it didn't take it. Very odd. So column full. Tell you what, let's use the old debugger here. So I'm gonna hit debugger, and I've got the game running over here on the side. So I'm gonna refresh, and it's the same thing. I can see that the brazier is under the crate. So I'm at, where's the player? The player is located at 857, 680. So I want to find the one that's about there. 857, 680. There's a lot of them. At the player, I moved a little bit, so the player's at 770, 760. So it might have been this one down here. Hang on. The Z order is 9. So it didn't change. Yeah, that is kind of odd, isn't it? What about... All right, a couple things we could try. Maybe plus 1,000. Do you think it might not be in collision? What about if it is... Yeah, let's double check the hitbox. That could be it. It's because it's a little smaller. All right, let's move it further down. Surely that would do it. All right, I liked that. The question is, I changed two things though. The question is, did I need the 1,000? Was it dramatic? Huh, it does like the 1,000. What about 10? It doesn't like 10. Does it like 100? What in the world? Now watch, it won't work. It likes 1,000. Go figure. What if I hadn't put such a dramatic number in there? I wouldn't have gotten that to work. Okay, so that is kind of like the start of like how I could put some random levels in here. What I'm thinking though is it'd be cool to have it kind of extend out, because this is a tiled sprite, the ground is, so I could have it build out as I go. And then I could have more room for having levels, right? All right, so let's save. All right, I need to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my time, since I don't have a ton of time tonight. So what I could do is I want to, I guess, keep working on the environment. I want more lights because it's really hard to see anything. I want more chunks. External layouts will be a time killer. Yeah, so... what do you propose? Because, like, all I need to do now is, as soon as I build one, I have more variation. But what I'm thinking is I think it'd be cool if they would, like, spawn automatically as I venture out into the map, instead of specifying how many of them to build in, you know. So if I go 1,000 paces to the right, it would create more of them for me. I also need like a swoosh sound, so I want to get that in too for when I swing the sword. Oh, and then also I think it'd be fun to knock over those braziers. So let's see. Breakables. I could probably do it here. In fact, let me copy some code. I'm going to copy some code. All right, so if the brazier is in collision with breakables, and then I'm going to check, I think there's a variable on the breakables for interacted. If it is true, and then also if the animation of the brazier is equal to 0, Let me double check here. Brazier lit, brazier break. Okay. Then we'll change the animation. Let's see if that worked. Don't know if it will. So the question is it going to fall over when I whack this? It did. All right. I like it when things work. Are there any more? Dang it, I want to break more. All right, let's see here. You did it a little differently. You had an external room, but within that room was object spawn locations. Upon spawn roam, it also picked random object locations. So it was random each time. Can do the same with walls and doors. No, I think I know what you mean. I'm trying to visualize it. You did it a little differently with external room. Within the room was object spawn locations. Okay, so I know what you mean by spawn locations, I think, because I do that too. So if I were to go here, let's say, instead of actually putting these in, you had like this is a spawner. It's actually a spawner. You're saying you put these out into the map. Luna Chris, doing pretty well tonight. How are you doing? I'm having fun because I'm just over here playing around with an asset pack, working on a Diablo clone. All right, and then Code, you're saying it also picked random object locations. So were you randomizing the placement of the spawners themselves? I'm glad to hear it, Ludicrous. Yeah, we're on the downslope for the week, right? So it's almost the weekend, which is always nice. How long have I been streaming? Tonight I've been streaming for about an hour. In general, I've been streaming for about 2 years. So, let's see here. Upon loading, you pick X amount to use and then delete the rest. I think I see what you're saying. Lunacris, you have any fun weekend plans? Yeah, ask away. This is a safe space. Go for it. Okay, I'm gonna try something code. And I think I hear an echo of myself somewhere. Are you all hearing an echo? I think OBS has some issues. I could also be crazy, though. That's definitely a possibility. No echo? Okay, good. Okay, let me create. So we've got... I already have the enemy spawners, so... In fact, where did I put those? Lunacris says you're a digital artist. You specialize in creating custom stream graphics such as logos, overlays, banners, and other visual elements. If I want, so you can show some of your previous artwork and portfolio. Cool. Let's digital artist specializing in custom stream graphics such as logos. Yeah, Ludicrous, I'd be interested in seeing some of your work. Do you have a where do you have like where is your portfolio? Let's see here. Yeah, I've got a Discord. Yeah, link should be in the description. If not, that'll be the best place because then you can click it. Check out the video description. Yeah, it's in there. See if that works. Okay, so let's see. If we're going to try this approach, then we're going to take like... duplicate this. We'll call this one column spawner. I'm not exactly sure how to make this work with my existing stuff at the moment, but I'm sure I can figure it out. So if I have like one of the issues I have too, code, is I'm not sure because I've done such a weird way of doing the wall collisions. I might struggle to make those spawn automatically. I might need to keep those at least. Got it, Ludicrous. Yeah, thanks for the link. I'll definitely check that out. How long have you been doing graphic design? Or rather, graphic design and art, all that. Looks pretty dope. Nice and clean. Okay, let's see. We could do maybe a stack of boxes in this one. I think these things will need... I kind of want to do Y sort on them, but I also don't want... That might mess up some other things. Obviously, don't have to have really any of this, but it's kind of fun. I might end up getting rid of these shadows. They don't quite fit with some of the other things going on here in the game. Do they? Oh, there we go. We can change those a little bit. All right, that one is Z order 3. Let's give this a different Z order as well. Okay, so that's going to give me 3 for now to play with. Very rough and ready, but we're going to go with it. Let's see here. Oh no, your work looks really solid, dude. Let's talk more. I'm not looking for anything official right now, but I'm open to discussions. But yeah, again, really nice work. What tools do you use to generate your art? I'm curious. All right, so I'm going to use 6, 7, and 8. Actually, let me close some of these other scenes out. Don't really need them open anymore. Don't need that one open anymore. And then Now I'm trying to remember where I put the skeleton spawners. Blender, Maya, Illustrator, and Photoshop. Nice. Yeah, it's really clean. I like it. Yeah, I'm open to ideas all day long. What you got? Okay, enemies. Where did I put these things? Did I put them on the main level? Oh, I did put them on the main level. Okay. Interesting choice, Corey. So basically, just wherever I go, they're going to spawn from the four corners. And what's your rate for a package like that, Ludicrous? Okay, I want to find... Actually, let me double check that this looks all right. Okay, so let's see. I want to not be able to walk through these things, so I need to separate myself from the breakables and from the braziers. Columns are all right. Walls are all right. So let's do that. All right, so this will be in, let's see, player. Player animations, environment. That sounds good, Ludicrous. I'll follow up with you, and we can talk. Like I said, I'm not in a, probably nothing in the immediate future, but I'm open to ideas, so I definitely appreciate it. All right, repeat for each instance of, I'm going to say breakables. That should do the trick. And then I guess I have to do, I could do the brazier thing as well. It's not really in a group. Normally I'd put that into one of the groups. So let's try this. Let me save. Oh, and then real quick, on that last thing here. So I think I have a point on here. So if I turn the column, yeah, so I'm realizing Oh, okay. So because they did shading on this side, I decided to put the lights only on the left side. So I guess for now that'll have to stay. All right. You can break all those. The brazier didn't fall when it was sitting on a barrel, though. So I'll need to fix the barrel collision as well. So I think the next thing is to just make sure that this expands more. Obviously, I can see the end of the map. It's not ideal. Unless it's just like a little closed-in level and then I go to like an actual different level, but I'm not sure. All right, then I want to go down. The character gets stuck swinging sometimes, and that's kind of annoying too. All right, so that needs work. Let's see, barrel, collision mask. Okay, so that would be why. Might need those to go up a little higher. Could set camera boundaries and then have it swap rooms or lower levels. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if I can get these to fall over. It did not. All right, for now, I'm just going to avoid putting those on the barrels. Okay, then, like I said, I want to get a swoosh sound for when I swing. So let me do a quick pivot and go get a sound effect. Technically, it's something I could record here real quick. I mean, I could try this live. Won't be great, but I'll try it. That was kind of noisy. All right, so I've got like this hanger here. Hopefully I don't hit the microphone. I just broke the hanger. All right. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to turn off my Spotify. So what I'm going to do is grab the room sample here at the start. Okay, that should be nice and clean. Well, I got a sound of something breaking if I ever need that. I just broke the hanger. And there's me talking. Let's get rid of that. Okay. You only share in DMs, not in groups? Is that a is that like a strategic business choice? Add new stereo track, go to the beginning. Not even sure if y'all can hear that or not. So let's see, take this. Seems like I could take this and maybe tweak it a little bit. All right, good enough. I'm going to export that. Swoosh? What's the actual word for this? I'm going to call it a swoosh. All right, let's go to the player object. Swoosh works. Change the animation of the player set to attack. That's probably where I'll tell this thing to also play the sound closest to when the attack is happening. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't even know what channel. Choose a file. Not even sure what channel to put that on. Let's just start this out at the normal. Random and range. I'll say like something like that. Yeah, links are scary, aren't they? All right, actually, I'm going to pause the music again so we can listen to this. There we go. It's a little bit loud on some of the noises, I think. Yeah, not too bad for just using a hanger that I broke live on stream, right? That gem sound, I'm not a fan of, though. But yeah, I think the breaking works. I think the sword works. And the gold works. Let's see. All right, got the sound in. Wanted to do the camera. So let's go to level setup. Actually, where is it? You said set camera bounds. So is that? Trying to remember. Is that in here? No. Yeah, okay. Enforce camera boundaries. Left bound. So this would be like... Does it need to run every frame or something? It doesn't seem to do much here. Let me double check on this. Yeah, it does need to be triggered every frame. So maybe let's see, I think here, the player, center of the camera, maybe I should put it here. And then do I need to do this for each layer too then? You said use floor object for boundaries. That way it can be easier to control per level. Floor.x. Yeah, I could do that. What is my floor? So that is the floor. It's a tiled sprite. So it's here. Okay, so there, the bounding box, not the bounding box, the camera boundary is working based on just the raw level. At least that. Not at the bottom though. Floor width. Yeah, let's try that. See where I put my camera events. Okay. Oh, it's in the main event. Here we go. Trying to remember though if it has to be for every layer. Background, base, and lighting. So floor.x and floor.y. Just the ones that are moving, so the two following the player. Yeah, base and background, okay. And then floor dot width. That works. Let's go check the other edges. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good too. All right. Not bad, not bad. Let's see. Obviously, if I don't want the player to walk through the sides of the walls, then let's do something about that. I could probably do that on, well, let's see. I don't have a bigger one of these. Now you can resize and it works dynamically. Yeah, no, that's a good approach for sure. I'll need to figure out a plan for how I want to do levels. I don't have that decided tonight or anything. I could put these in here just to keep the player from walking out. And I want to fix the braziers. They're blocking the loot when they fall over. So I need to fix that real quick too. And then I would like to see, I don't have much time honestly. I'd like to see if I could kill the skeletons. Right, so I think the whole thing is moving, so that might not work. They do have death animations. Yeah, actually, I think... I'll figure that out later. Yeah, so let's go to the brazier real quick. Collision mask. When it falls over... Right, let's use a custom one here, and then let's not share for all animations. On the second one, I don't really want much of one at all. Maybe just like a little something right here. Let's see if that's any better. George, I miss you too, dude. South by was a blast. Thanks for inviting me. I have a confession to make though. Small confession. I accidentally kept a pocket full of your stickers. So I'll have to give these out to people. I'll try to rep your brand over here in Oklahoma. Alright, let's see if this brazier works any better this time. That works alright. It's a little janky. Just a little janky. But I can get the loot. Like, I can't completely run through it, so that's good at least. Can run through it a little bit. Let's see. It's kind of annoying though. It's set to 1,000. I gotta fix that Z order somehow. Does the player have white sort? It does. Why don't I just give this white sort? Did I try that already? What is the ROI? Let me pull up something. So there was a dude. We were having like a networking event outside of a coffee shop at the South by Southwest event. And there was a guy who must have been a venture capitalist, and he kept asking, what's the return on investment? What's the ROI? After George would say anything at all. George would say, yeah, we're here enjoying the convention. Yeah, but what's the ROI? So now that's the running joke. Anytime anyone says anything, you have to ask them what the ROI is. And then, so that being said, I was using my ChatGPT on some tower defense stuff, and it told me what the best ROI is. And I just knew that guy would be so proud. Oh, I see what you're saying, Code. Try keep on screen behavior for the player. He'll take you in. See, is that like a, let's see, keep, I'm not even sure if I've done this before, Code. Is that like an extension I need to add in? Screen. Stay on screen. 2D. Constrain object position to remain within the camera viewport boundaries. That might work. Oh, maybe I just add it to the object. Stay on screen. Let's try this. Let's try this. Oh, that is enforcing it way down here. Okay. So I need to add some margin. Also, it did not like the white sort when I added that to the brassiere. That's so weird. It does not like that. Okay, let's go to the player behavior here. Let's give that a margin of, I don't know exactly. Is it? Looks like it needs negative numbers. No, for Y it probably does. Okay, that's pretty good. That'll work for now. All right, let's see if I can get the skeletons dead. Add animation. Yeah, little adjustments will be fine. Okay, let's see here. Enemy, skeleton, death. All right, so we're gonna have quite a few of these to add in. So this is death, east. Let's preview that. It's super fast. That's interesting. What does the other one look like? What about like north? What does north look like? Yeah, still playing the Stardew Valley. We're definitely in the end game. You know, there's no real end to it, but we're really far along. Okay, I'm just gonna do one of these. I'm not even gonna do all the different angles. I don't think it's gonna look necessary. Remove. I'll just say death. Yeah, still playing the Stardew. It's spring break right now, though, so we haven't gotten to play this week, but looking forward to playing when he gets back. For sure. Okay, so let's go to player. Actually, it should go to enemies. So where am I deleting the enemy? I guess I'm not. Okay, do they have health? They do, okay. So what's interesting is I didn't do a for each skeleton, but it seems to be working okay. But I would feel better if I added one up here. Sometimes it's hard to indent these things. I don't know why. Actually, you didn't miss any of those streams. We just haven't streamed any lately, but we really need to get back to it. I know he wants to try out some of the mods on stream, so we'll probably do that. All right, this will be death. Okay, so if skeleton is dead, if the skeleton's animation by name is not equal to death, then we're going to set the animation to death. Oop, that is the player. Then I think I need to check if the animation is death, and then if the animation is finished. Let's see. I thought there was a specific if the animation is done playing. No. Oh, you're right. Why am I in the actions? Good call. If the animation is finished, then I think I'm going to start like a timer on it and then delete them after like a couple seconds. I don't know. What do you like, Code? Do you like corpses to stay around, or do you like them to go away? This is probably a personal choice. I know in PoE the ground clutter gets really bad, but oh, like a slow decay. Yeah, we could do that. Okay, so if the animation is death and the animation is finished playing, then why don't we take the opacity and we will simply subtract let's also check here for skeleton's opacity. If it is less than 10, then we'll just say delete. All right, now in order to test this, I need to be able to hit them. So All right, so 0, 1, 2, 3, these are my directions. Bonk them skellies. Trying to think of the best way to do this. So obviously I face in 8 different directions. But I could keep it pretty simple, basically just... I don't really know if I need a diagonal check. I might just need like up, down, left, right checks. But I have a variable to tell me what direction my player's facing. Could do a distance check. Yeah, and then if player facing left, right. So if player distance to skeletons below 60 pixels, and then I guess I should also check if player animation. Maybe not. Maybe I should use something else. Because I could use the animations. So if I'm using attack 0, I'm attacking to the right. What variables do I have here? To be honest, I hadn't put much thought into this, so I probably should. I could give it a variable like attacking. If skeleton X position is less than player X, yeah, it's on the left. Yeah, that part makes sense to me. I mean, what I was thinking is, at what point do I want it to check for the actual attack? I guess it could be just on click, really. But, you know, visually it might look better if it were on a certain frame of the attack. But I guess we'll get to that point. See, no, I don't want the skeleton itself to have to be clicked, so I just want it to be like mouse button released. Actually, mouse button. Yeah, I guess released is fine. Yeah, Then we'll check the skeleton position. So if that is less than, I'll say less than or equal to player.x. So if it's less and less, then that would need to be if the player variable, actually, let's see, is that a scene variable? Oh yeah, it is. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 5. So this is basically northwest. It might get really specific. But let me test it out. Let me just kill them in one hit. That should do the trick. This should be if they're, oops, to the upper right of me. Okay, why are they not spawning? They're not spawning now. Did I disable it? Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't want to put that there. I want to move that. There we go. Okay, so that one died. It's still walking around. It is killing him. I'm seeing if the opacity is going down. Yeah, follows even. It's literally undead. It's super undead. You said the released button is constant kill. Yeah, I think you're right. So, I mean, could definitely do a, like, check to make sure the skeleton is alive. If that's what you mean. I think I also see something else you might be talking about. Let me just say. Let's see if this is triggering a lot of times. Okay, so it's just one time per kill. Opacity to a hard 3 instead of delta. Yeah, let's try it. Also need to make it not be moving around. Tell you what, a couple things I need to do here to test this. All right, so skeleton, behavior. Oh, I know. If skeleton is dead, then if the Pathfinder is stuck to the skeleton, and if the Pathfinder behavior of pathfinding is active, then let's deactivate that. If not dead, check at start if all the skeleton code. Yeah, honestly, should do that. All right, so if skeleton is not dead, then we're going to do the movement. And these animations. And then, of course, if the skeleton is dead, this other junk. Now it's still moving. Okay. If skeleton is dead, if enemy pathfinder is stuck to skeleton, let's do this. I'm going to also say disable the sticker. Might even try deleting that. In fact, if I delete it, I won't need the pathfinding. So let's see if this works. If dead, then check if stuck pathfinder object. Yeah, exactly. That might be better. I think we're on the same page. Oops, that didn't hit it. What in the world? Okay, so it seems to be having a selection issue. All right, skeleton is dead. Pathfinder's stuck. In fact, why don't I just straight up delete it there? Oh, I know why I did that, because I don't want to delete the skeleton there, but let's just see what happens. Man, it is stubborn. You know what? The order might matter here. Yeah. Okay, it was in order. Because I actually stuck the skeletons to the Pathfinder. There we go. All right. Now I just need to do all the other directions. Yep. Once again, we are on the same wavelength. All right, so let's do this then. I'm going to start with... Oops. I'm going to start with east. This will be the last thing I do for the night. So east is going to be player direction 0. And so that's facing to the right. The X position would have to be, I'll say, greater than or equal. And Y position, I really don't care about the Y position here too much. It's kind of odd. I don't know. As if it was like a big sweeping attack, I wouldn't care if he has like a 180-degree direction. But it might look funny if it's 180 degrees the way his sword is swinging. I could just say something like if it's plus or minus 20 or something. Yeah, so it might get kind of manual here, but why don't I try something like if the Y position is less than or equal to player Y plus 20. And then also if it is... Could you add a point on a certain frame for each direction? The check skeleton distance to point. That's not a bad idea. I'm not a bad idea. Let me check. Let's look into this. So frame 5 here seems to be pretty good. So that is attack 0, frame 5. Oh, I need to not... Okay, let's not share points for all animations. Attack 1, frame 5. Yeah, I'll just try sticking it on the sword. Somewhere over here. Point inside object check. Yeah, I could do that too. That would be like really granular. We're gonna find out though. Should I rename these? Point. I call it attack maybe. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Apply. All right, so then we'll say if skeleton distance. Actually, let me see. Better yet. Try to remember how to do distance to a point, but not to a specific object. I know you can do that. And I know the point inside of an object would work, but they would have to be really, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of frustration. I think it's going to be too granular. It's Have an object spawn on the point. Yeah, that could be a workaround as well. And then if that object collides with the skeletons, they take the damage. Lots of ideas. Then check that distance to the skeleton. So if we have the player, we have a skeleton about that far away. And if we were to spawn like this at the attack point, then we could check if it's hitting the skeletons. Something like that. All right, so let's try this then. So then what we'll do is, yeah, I think you're right about that. So let's set a variable here. Let's go to the player, check a variable. If attacking is false, we're going to set that to true. I think. I might actually have to do this somewhere else as well. But we'll see what we can do here. If it's false, set it to true. Then I'll say and then also create an attack box at the position of player.point attack. Point X. Like that. All right, then I think we check if the box is in collision with a skeleton. Then we apply the damage to the skeleton. The thing about the animation check is there are 8 different animations. So it's kind of a hassle to have to check them specifically. Oh, wait. Never mind. You don't have to. Okay, so if animation of player is finished, let's set this back as well. I'm sure there's going to be something wrong here. Or wait, X amount and then delete. Yeah, something like that. Something went horribly wrong there. Oh, well, for one thing, I don't want the. I think I want these to be standalone. So that would be like this. All right. It's getting late, so I'm doing some sloppy stuff here, but I think I need to do another sub event. So specifically if all of these things, if the touch or mouse button is released, and then also if attacking is false, set it to true and create this object. Then only now that needs to be standalone for sure. Attack should be under player. What do you mean? It's in the player external events. If the player distance to skeletons below 60, so what we're gonna do is the purple box gets created up here. And then just repeating for each instance of the skeleton. If attack box is in collision with skeleton, apply the damage. And then here, yeah, I mean, maybe I just give each box like a time to live. You have the attack box creation under each skeleton. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, so I guess at this point, I don't even need that at all, do I? For starters, let me get rid of these. All right, so yeah, I think you're right. Let's see. All I need for each skeleton is to see if they're in collision with that box. Then separately for each box, I'm just going to check their time to live. And I'll say if it's greater than or equal to like I don't know, 0.3 seconds. Then I'll delete it. All right, so it's completely standalone. If player distance to skeleton is below 60 pixels. So again, that might not even matter now either. So I don't think we need that. Okay, here's the attack. Left mouse button is released. Create the attack box. Give it a time to live. For each attack box, if the time to live is over the time, delete it. Repeat for each instance of skeleton. If attack box is in collision with the skeleton, apply damage. I would just need to make sure that this only happens once. But we could run a quick test. Yeah, so each of these is standalone now, I think. So you're right about that. Let's give a quick test and just see what's happening here. Yeah, so I mean, it's not perfect. I think it's working. Look at that. And it's a little bit generous. You know, if they're not exactly on the point, they're still going to get hit. The only thing after that is I think there was a point that was a little bit off. Hit points. Let's see here. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. What is this one? Oh. I didn't name it. I think that was it. Skeleton damage cooldown and the behavior. Cool. Let's check that out. Oh, damage cooldown. Okay. Could set that to like 0.4 because I think my box time to live is 0.3, so that should work. In fact, that being said, why don't I try reducing the amount of damage? I'll make it so it takes 2 hits to kill one. One, two. You can see a couple extra swings. That's not me clicking. That's a bug. A different bug, not related to the pink square. Cool. Yeah, I think the cooldown works. When we come back next time, we'll have them drop loot and stuff. In fact, I want to go ahead and hide. Let me get to the level setup. Actually, not at the level setup. It needs to be at the enemy spawn. I want to hide the enemy Pathfinder. That'll make it look a lot better. It's working, code. It's working. Diablo 5, here we come. I need to fix that bug though. When I attack and then I'm holding down WASD, it tries to attack again. Or at least it plays the animation. All right. I might actually extend this to object breaking as well. Because that's still pretty rudimentary. I want to also, I think, separate objects from the player because I hate it when they're standing under him. That doesn't really make sense. All right. Yeah, hide the pink box. We need to do that too. I just wanted to make sure it was working, which it is now, so... Let's try that now. All right, last test of the night. Should take 2 hits, except when it does that, you know, the other bug, the animation bug. All right. Working pretty well. Cool. Appreciate the coding there. Not too shabby. I think I'm gonna call it a wrap for tonight. So pretty good stream. Pretty long stream. So thanks so much for hanging out. Code, I hope you have a great night. I hope you and your family stay well. And everyone else who's been following along, thanks so much for hanging out. And if I don't see you before next Thursday, I'll see you next Thursday. And whatever it is you're working on, I hope you have fewer bugs than I do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well, Code. So, y'all, I hope you have fewer bugs than I do, and have a great night. Thanks.